It's the end of a busy day. You just saw 30 patients. Instead of heading home for dinner with your spouse or playing with the kids, you now begin your night job charting. Charting is critical and necessary, but it steals your focus from your patients, eats away at your time with your family, and keeps you up at night. The burden of always having another chart to complete drains every clinician. Freed is an AI medical scribe that makes charting go away. Freed listens, prepares your notes, and writes patient instructions for you. Charting is done before your patient walks out of the room. Wait, because it gets better. Freed learns your style over time, just like a human scribe would, except that it will never quit on you. Freed is loved by 10,000 plus clinicians from every specialty. It is HIPAA compliant, takes 30 seconds to learn, and costs only $99 a month. You can try Freed for free right now by going to freed.ai. My listeners can use the coupon code PGD for $50 off the first month.
We work hard as physicians to take care of the health and well-being of our patients. But when it comes to our money, do we have the same condition of care? Probably not. Let's change that together. Welcome to the Financial Freedom for Physicians podcast, where we'll fight and advocate for your financial literacy. As always, I'm your host, Dr. Christopher Liu. Thanks for being here. Let's jump into the show. Hey guys, welcome to this week's podcast episode, and I've got Steve coming out of Boca Raton, Florida, and he is an empowering entrepreneur. He guides leaders and elevates business success. So he's got a interesting and unique background. He's president of TRC Electronics, and we're going to talk all about empowerment, purpose, goal setting, networks, relationships, and how to succeed in today's extremely volatile and fast-paced economy. So, Steve, welcome.
Hey, Chris, pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I really love connecting, networking with like-minded entrepreneurs. And so, introduce yourself, talk about your background, your story, and we'll dive into the conversation.
Started off in electronics industry, came out of college, electrical engineering degree. And back in 1998, entered the family business that my dad began in 1982. Grew through that business and ended up purchasing the business and had a successful transition from generation to generation in a family business by acquiring the business from my dad. That was back in 2010. I grew the business over the last several years. Generated over $500 million in revenue while I was leading the organization. And now I've been able to get to a point, educate myself as a business owner to the point where I'm able to exit the day-to-day of the business and now be able to work with other entrepreneurs and help coach and develop them on growing and scaling the business, as well as leadership, which is really that's my passion, is leadership.
Yeah, I really love that, how you've continued to grow and evolve your in terms of your personal growth and strategy. So you talk a lot about the road to empowerment, and you talk about this overcoming victim mentality and building emotional resilience. This skill is really important and necessary. So talk about resiliency and how you can empower yourself to succeed.
Yeah, it's a great topic. Resiliency is really critical if you're an entrepreneur and you're going to be a business owner, because you're going to be tested. And I think a lot of people confuse perseverance with resilience. Persevering is just simply surviving, living to fight another day. But being able to be resilient through obstacles and challenges, the difference there is that you're able to maintain your composure, you control your emotions, you still remain happy in life, where it's not, you don't go home miserable at the end of the day to your family. But more importantly, how you're leading yourself and your team through the obstacles and challenges that are going to happen 100% guaranteed as a business owner, so that you're leading yourself and that you're successfully leading your team through those challenges. Then it can grow through them, and it's a positive experience, because really all problems are really opportunities at the end of the day.
I love that. Yeah, the entrepreneurship is not for the faint of heart it is.
No, it is not. It's great because a lot of people say, I don't have to deal with all these problems. I'll just start my own business. And, I can set my own hours. Well, if you're going to be successful as a business owner, those first few years of your business, you're probably not going to see many people. You're not going to see your friends. You're not going to be your holidays. You're working, weekends. You're working. It isn't a 9 to 5 gig, because if you truly want to succeed and be successful at it, and that's the thing, most of entrepreneurs underestimate what it takes, and then 97% of them fail within 10 years. They don't even survive.
Yeah, it's really interesting when I hear people say I'm gonna start a business so I can have more free time.
Not the case.
Yeah. Um, I really love this. And, we can talk about, the emotional roller coaster, the highs, the lows, and um, what really sets really good entrepreneurs apart? Is it purpose? Like when things are like when you had like COVID, or when you have like got shutdowns, or you got really bad economy, like what keeps people in the game? Because most people just be like, file for bankruptcy, quit, just go back to a job, what keeps people in?
Right. So when you go through those moments, those experiences, those periods, the first thing is having a greater purpose. Why am I doing this? What is the greater purpose? And that's true whether you're an entrepreneur or whatever you're doing in life, and you want to accomplish something or do something. There's got to be a greater purpose, the why behind everything. And when you're in touch with that greater purpose and the why, you'll be much more likely to succeed through those moments, because you're in touch with, why am I really doing this? That's, if you set a goal and in life, personally, and you don't understand the why behind that goal, what does that really mean to you? Well, when it gets a little challenging, you're probably not going to go through that hard challenge, because I don't even know why I'm doing this at this point. So forget this. So that's first and foremost, is have purpose behind what you're doing. And then you need to develop yourself. You need to invest in yourself in order to, now you have that purpose, but now to actually be able to actually perform. Now I've got the willingness to perform. I'm committed to doing it, but to be successful through it, it's being able to identify what are my opportunities for growth? Where do I need to grow? Everyone has them. Identify them, create a development plan for myself, and now start developing myself. And there's so many resources out there right now. There's no excuse not to do it. There's just so many options.
Yeah. Yeah. One mentor, and we'll talk about power mentors. He was talking about, now in this stage, the age of information, it's not about who has the information, it's who can take it and apply it and transform themselves. So I love this idea of building skills and growing. The other, life is not a solo sport, it's team. So you emphasize the importance of tips for networking and building relationships and nurturing relationships, and also creating boundaries with people that kind of don't align with your goals and values.
Yes. So no one's built anything great by themselves. No one's done anything no one's changed the world by themselves. They always have a team, whether the team is visible or behind the scenes or not. So you've got to, in order to do that, you need to, as a business owner, need to learn how to effectively lead other people, inspire them, and coach and develop them, and show a vision of a bigger picture and something that they would want to be a part of, and that they ultimately believe in you, and they're going to want to follow you even when things are challenging. And what was the second part that you asked me there? I want to make sure I get the whole answer for you.
Oh, I was gonna say, like letting go of those people that don't align with you or don't
Yes.
with you. Or...
Yeah, so that is important. You want people around you that are aligned. And really, when you're in an organization, that's creating a culture in your organization and making sure everyone's aligned. When you have a strong culture, and a strong culture isn't because you have a ping pong table in the break room. A strong culture is because the people that are in your organization are aligned with the core values. They are excited about the mission and the vision of the organization. And when you have that, you have harmony in the organization, and you can move a lot faster. You're not dealing with a lot of drama in the organization. But when you lack that, you're gonna be dealing with misalignment issues, and there's going to be that friction, and there's going to be a lot of conflict, unhealthy conflict, that is just because we just don't see eye to eye and we're not aligned on how, like, hey, one of the core values we have in our organizations is accountability. And that's a tough core value. And a lot of people struggle with that. And when you really have when you are holding people accountable, and if they don't value that core value as well, they're going to struggle and it's not going to work.
Mhm.
So bringing people in your life, and that same thing in your personal life, you want to be around people that are aligned, and networking. You want to get into events. You want to go network into whether it's a business conference, whether it's just simply the type of places, social networks that are going to be. If you're a high earner, go where the high earners are. They're going to be more aligned. They're going to be dealing with similar problems and challenges that you are, and they're probably going to want to talk about how do we create something bigger versus being a victim in life and how life is so unfair.
Yeah, I love that. And I've always networking and just kind of building relationships, and like the whole world is interconnected. There's 6 degrees between 6 degrees between from where you want to go and from where you are. Um, the other question is, because, this whole journey and process is continuous growth, never ending improvement. And, you'll start out somewhere, you'll have your certain cohort. And as you grow, hopefully your cohort grows with you, but some are,
Right.
are not. So, and then, so, talk about how you know, or what are the signs that you kind of know it's like, okay, you've reached the growth limit, kind of like let those stragglers go and to get to the next level.
Yes. So there's a couple ways to look at this. One is the people that you're growing with, and then secondly, it's people that you're learning from to grow. So the people you're growing with, people don't typically grow apart. They just simply, some grow and some don't. And that's what happens, where if I'm growing like this and Joe is not growing, we're probably going to start having different interests. Our conversations are going to be different because we're not growing together and kind of weaving that together, especially in marriage. That's key in marriage. If you have one spouse that's growing like crazy, the other one's not, it's going to be a challenge. But when you're both growing together, well, then that's a journey. But as soon as that gap becomes too big, then there's a natural thing that happens here where all of a sudden you just start talking to each other less, and all of a sudden, before you know, you're disinterested in one another. If you're learning from somebody, so as a leader, my people learn from me, or I'm leading other people in coaching leadership. I need to keep growing and developing because I'm going to keep transferring what I know to them. But if I run out of knowledge and information to transfer to them, they're going to go somewhere else and find another coach or mentor because I stopped growing. You're either growing or you're dying. There's no in between. There's no like neutral. And so for the people that mentor me, they're constantly growing and developing. I'm trying to catch up to them. I could never catch up because they keep setting the pace.
Forget the burdens of tenants and toilets. Equity Multiple simplifies your investment journey, letting you invest passively embedded, professionally managed commercial real estate. Only 5% of reviewed investments reach Equity Multiple's platform, with our asset management working on each from funding through exit to maximize your returns. Whether you're on the couch, in your exec chair, or the backseat of a ride share, Equity Multiple brings cash flowing real estate investments straight to your fingertips. All investments involve risk. Visit equitymultiple.com to learn more. Yeah, I really love that. It's always kind of looking forwards and just kind of this kind of continually pushing and striving. That way you kind of keep yourself motivated and never stay complacent. Um, and what I really love about you is you've transitioned from being a really successful individual in your personal life, in your business, in your company, to now sharing with others. Now you're a great mentor. So what qualities do you really strive for in mentorship and helping others, and how do you cultivate those qualities?
So in order to be successful at mentoring people, some qualities is one, always being self-aware, understanding that there's 1% I know, there's 1% I know I don't know, and there's this 98% I don't even know I don't know. So having that intellectual awareness of the fact that there's still so much to learn it makes me a learn-it-all, not a know-it-all. So that's really important for a mentor because I'm going to be transparent where, hey, I'm still learning and I'm learning this right now and I'm going to teach you as I'm learning. So they've got to be intellectually aware of where they are in this world because I'm dedicated to lifelong learning. The other thing is that why am I doing this? The why behind it. And in order to be successful at leading or mentoring, you need to come from a place of heart in that where it's authentic and you are not self-serving, but you're serving others first. And that you know in the long run that you'll benefit from it, but I'm putting other people's interests before my interests as I'm leading and mentoring people. Because if I put my interests first, it is not going to be successful. And that's true with any leader in any position.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I really. Um, the other question, kind of, because a lot of the audience on the podcast, they're servants as well, and one of the big complaint, or I wouldn't say complaints, but one of the things that happens is they get over, like they get taken advantage of. So how do you balance this servant leadership and heart versus balancing it with getting taken advantage of?
Right. So if I'm leading other people, the key to that is just setting clear expectations and understand. And you mentioned boundaries earlier, but when you have boundaries, well, I have expectations of every role and position in any of the organizations that I'm a part of. And everyone knows, hey, we call it a magnitude of impact scale. So it could be poor, average, good, great, excellent, remarkable. We know what the number means when it's great. We know what the number means when it's excellent. But at the bare minimum, you need to be average. If you're below average, you're not meeting the minimum expectations. And really, if you're an average, you're probably going to get passed up and not last very long because obviously, we don't want to be an average company. We don't want to provide an average experience. So you define that and you set the clear expectations.
Yeah. Yeah. Holding people accountable, again, boundaries, which I really love.
And I would add one more thing, Chris.
Yeah.
When a business owner feels that, oh, I've been taken advantage of, that is a reflection of the business owner. You attracted that into your world. That didn't happen to you. That happened because of you. And then what are the conditions that I created that my experience was that an employee just took advantage of me? Because that's not their fault. That's my fault. I have control over that. And what can I learn from that so that I can change, that I have control of moving forward, that doesn't happen again. Because if it happens once and I can learn from it, it's great. But if I keep making the same mistake over and over again, then I am not learning.
I love that quote that you just said. What conditions did I create to enable this to happen?
Yes.
Talk about how you approach risk, because entrepreneurs, you have to take risk, calculated risks, and how you versus just kind of just what, like in finance, it's like risk taking, risk management versus like speculation and gambling. So how do you approach that in your company and business?
Right. So I always say I'm taking a calculated risk. I'm analyzing it, and I'm not gambling here, and I'm taking a calculated risk. And it's like the middle class mindset is don't take any risks, save your money for a rainy day. Then this is where entrepreneurs don't fit into that whole middle class mindset. It's like, wow, that is just like I cannot live like that. That is just not. You're telling me to shoot for the middle class, get stuck there, and have no financial freedom for my entire life, and be dependent on like other services and backstops. No, I don't want that. So with no risk, no reward. But no one said no gamble, no reward, right? So it's about, okay, analyzing the opportunities. What's the risk reward? There's a risk of doing nothing. There's always a risk of doing nothing. If you do nothing, that's the biggest risk you could take in life. If you do nothing your entire life. So I'm constantly analyzing my risk reward formula. And okay, and I know that I need to take calculated risks, whether it's with my business, and then not only with my business, but when you have a successful business and you're releasing cash from the business, I want to fortify my success, and I want to create other passive incomes coming into my life, so that then I have passive income coming from, for me, it's multifamily real estate investments that support my support my expenses, and now I can have more courage with my primary business, and I could take some greater risks because I already have secured my living expenses with passive income that just happens when I'm sleeping.
Yeah, I love that. Spoken like a true entrepreneur. So, to conclude it out, we have, 2, 3 minutes. Talk about how people can find you and reach out to you. I know you've also got a podcast, the Steve Lags Unfiltered, which I encourage the audience to check out. And how can they follow you and reach out to you?
That's great. Yes. So I do have a podcast, Steve Lags Unfiltered. It's on all the major channels, YouTube and all the audio channels. And also I run a business mastery leadership program. It's the elite leadership training program that's in the US. If you're interested in learning more about that and or doing any one-on-one coaching with me for even business consultation, you can email me steve@stevelags.com.
Yeah, I love that. And again, I really enjoyed this conversation, and thanks so much for coming on, and keep up the great work.
I appreciate it, Chris. My pleasure, buddy.
As we wrap up, Freed AI is here to free you from medical documentation. HIPAA compliant, it takes 30 seconds to learn and is incredibly affordable. Join the movement to eliminate clinician burnout. Visit Freed.ai and improve your lifestyle. You can try Freed for free right now by going to Freed.ai. My listeners can use the coupon code PGD for $50 off the first month.
I'm excited that you made it for another episode. You are truly the best. If you've been following the show for a while, you know that my passion is to bring you the education you need to find your path to financial freedom. Please come back week after week for new content, new resources, and great guests. Until then, if you haven't already, please be sure to check out the website, www.drchrislumdphd.com, for more support. I'll see you next week.